Welcome to What in the Smut podcast,
where the books are horny and so are we. I'm Elle.
and I'm Kay. So, every week I'm gonna ask, is there anything good going on in the Smutverse this week?
I think yes.
Nice. That's never the answer. This is fantastic. Tell me all about it.
So, Christopher Nolan's adaptation of The Odyssey finally released, and it naturally has caused a stir. From the 3-hour runtime to the casting of a Black woman as Helen of Troy, criticisms of the movie based on a 3,000-year-old fable are plentiful. However, I would argue that this is the exact role of media, to get us thinking critically. And while there are plenty of bullshit criticisms, I say again that people were mad that a Black woman was cast. In what way is that important to anything? But I digress. Yeah. There are plenty of liberties that Nolan takes with this adaptation that are not part of any of the translations we have of Homer's original work. Discussing the merits of those changes and how they change the story for a modern audience is the best part of discourse. And I, for one, have greatly enjoyed seeing the number of people who are declaring that they want to read more. Pick up Emily Wilson's translation of The Odyssey, which was the first ever done by a woman, and in theory is the one that Nolan based a lot of his adaptation on.
Nice.
Or you can read Madeline Miller's works like Circe or The Song of Achilles, which is on my bookshelf behind me because I've been meaning to read it forever because I loved Circe and really wanted to read Song of Achilles. But expand your horizons, learn, argue. It's the oldest pastime that humanity has, telling a story and discussing how it makes us feel.
I love this so much. I don't love, and this happened with the live action Little Mermaid too.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're always upset if the hypothetical race is wrong. But nobody's upset if they were to create the Odyssey and have it be all animals that were the characters. Like, I don't understand when
is there anyone doing a completely outraged at the fact that the Lion King exists?
Right?
Because it's literally Hamlet with lions.
Or I don't know that VeggieTales exists at all because it's when people tell these stories with things that are not humans, we're fine with it and you can just accept that and it's no big deal. But all of a sudden, if they're human and it looks a little different to how you've pictured it in your head, all bets are off. It's insane.
It is. It is insane. But it's been so fascinating, seeing, because I read The Odyssey in high school. So it's been many years. So I remember a lot of the broad strokes. I've consumed a lot of Greek mythology spin-offs and retellings since then. So there's a certain amount of is that things that I know from the original story? Is it something I know from the Iliad? Is it something that I read in Circe? All of that. But kind of seeing a different adaptation and having it told in such a different way. One of the main criticisms that people have been kind of harping on is the use of modern language. So my understanding is that it's something Emily Wilson did in her translation was use more casual language than a lot of translators do because it makes this story more accessible.
Yeah.
I think the argument that I saw was Telemachus calling his father dad is no further from the original ancient Greek than father. And so making it unnecessarily formal is just a way to distance the reader from the visceral humanness of the story. And I think it's a really interesting choice that I thought really worked. It made it so much more accessible is the only word that I have for it, but it made it feel more real. It made it feel less this is a thing that happened thousands and thousands of years ago, and thus I'm safe from the introspection that comes from hearing people speak like I speak, talking about the horrors of war. And instead it's humans are humans no matter how long ago that they lived.
Yeah. And you know that the people that are mad about the modern language are also the ones that are asking authors to use words that are easier for them to read.
Well, like, and I feel like they're also the people that didn't read the original translations anyway. Like,
Yeah. I'm going to go back to use some life skills.
use some life skills. I'm begging you. Anyway, let's talk about a story whose sole purpose was to make me feel uncomfortable, and now we get to talk and argue about it.
I can't wait to have this conversation today. So this week we read Legendairy Role by Rosemary Bunny. And the synopsis says, during a typical hucow roleplay scene between a couple exploring the use of cream cheese and dairy products, their can of whipped cream comes to life and insists on being used in creative ways in order to break his curse. Legendairy Role is a short, humorous erotica packed with comedy, absurdity, and dairy-based temptation, perfect for readers who like their romance weird, spicy, and unhinged. You didn't even read the synopsis before you read this one.
I did not. And I usually don't. I usually try to go in as blind as possible because I feel like it's worse for me and better for you guys.
Yeah. How'd that one work out for you this week?
So bad. So bad.
Oh, man. I can't wait to see the disparity in our ratings for this one, too, because... So where would you put this one on our smut scale?
I'm torn between a 3 and a 4, only because there's 3 participants. One of them's an inanimate object. We've got some very rare fetishes and kinks on the page.
Yep.
There's no dubcon at all.
No.
Unless you count that the whipped cream is sentient and has been watching.
Which we didn't last week. Or
I think we called it like a 3.5. But yeah. So I think around a 3.5, given how much stuff we've got going on.
I would agree. 3 was kind of my thought process also. It's interesting because this one has no content warning.
No. And it should.
It really should
have so many content warnings. How many content warnings do we have here? Let's see. We've got the hucow roleplay. So we have a young woman role-playing as a dairy cow.
Yes. We
have food used in sexual intercourse, inside, outside, everywhere.
Introduction too. Of germs into areas that they should not be introduced.
Oh, so true. It's just don't put dairy in any of these places.
Insertion of a whole ass can.
I cannot deal with that, but we'll get there. Yes, insertion of a can of whipped cream, bottom first, into the female main character's vagina. We have
some restraints.
Yes, I was about to say restraints. Not your typical bondage, given that she's in a pillory, which leads to her kind of being uncomfortable this whole story. Like, I just can't imagine how my back would feel.
Yeah.
Although we do get a sex swing introduced later on to provide support to her hips, at least.
Yeah. I mean,
ideal. If that's how you're going to do it, that's how you're going to do it. We also have the whipped cream can was a frat boy in his past life, and it is kind of implied that he basically coerced innocent young girls into performing sex acts.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go so far as to say he was a rapist, but he was very much operating in the gray area of consent that might scar people.
Yeah.
He gets so redeemed at the end that I'm not sure that would be fun for former victims.
Yes, that's fair. As far as ratings go, this had a 3.3 on Amazon and a 3.2 on Goodreads.
Pretty on par for sentient object.
Yeah. A 3-star from Amazon says sentient whipped cream and kinky fun. This was a quick and dirty BDSM and sentient object story. This starts with our female main character in the barn being the newest breeding cow. The male main character uses cream cheese and eventually whipped cream in the scene. Except the whipped cream starts talking. He was cursed, and the only way to break it is to give a woman an orgasm. This kinky couple is happy to help. This was unexpected but very entertaining. This almost could be better than the synopsis.
I agree. Another content warning that we forgot was impact play.
Ah, yes. A little bit of that too.
There was quite a lot of that. But yeah, this is a great synopsis.
A 5-star says excellent sentient object and surprisingly educational, to be honest. I loved this novella. I would definitely recommend reading to anyone with a good sense of humor.
I will agree that it was surprisingly educational.
Yes.
This book did not include a note from the author that we normally see, which is like, erotica is not a guide to the lifestyle and all that. But like, I feel like this one was very much kind of trying to be a guide to the lifestyle. Like there was a lot of explanation. There was a lot of procedure around how to have an interaction like this.
Yes. And this is a 2026 release, which is interesting that there was no content warnings or whatnot.
Yeah. It is interesting. A 5-star on Goodreads says, I don't know that I can put into words why I liked this so much, but I really, really did. It's smut with a cursed can of whipped cream, but also a good lesson on safe BDSM, paying attention to your partner, and aftercare. LOL, it was a really quick read and I'd highly recommend it if the content warnings don't scare you off. I'm really excited for more. There weren't any content warnings. And finally, a 3-star on Goodreads. I'm too lactose intolerant for this shit. I agree. I'm not even lactose intolerant, and I agree.
I pulled that one just for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
As always, we will be going through the full plot of this story. And so if you would like to give Rosemary Bunny her page reads, there will be a link for this one in our show notes. But otherwise, are you ready to get into it? Because I know I am.
I am. Ready is not the right word, but I guess. Ready to get it over with, perhaps.
So within the first sentence of this, I knew you were going to hate it because it reads, I squeal as the chilly block of cream cheese grazes my nipples. And I'm like, what a way to start. Elle's going to hate this. And I was right, because I'm pretty sure I got a text message maybe 2 hours later that was like, I don't know if I can do this one.
I literally... It is not uncommon for us to come across stories that we, for whatever reason, struggle to finish. And usually those are the longer tales.
Yes.
That are trying to do too much and we just can't take it anymore.
Or have 75 sex scenes with a basilisk.
Right, exactly. I do think that Kiss of the Basilisk was nearly the kiss of death for this podcast because we truly didn't want to talk about it anymore. But we were in over our heads.
Bringing it up.
Yeah. But this book, the Legendairy Role play, is like, what, 38 pages?
31.
31 pages.
Yep.
I think I got 7 pages in and I was like, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah. Did it get better for you? No.
No, kind of. It redeems itself a little bit with the aftercare, I feel, because they at least have some understanding of the delicate microbiome of vagina and how to take care of someone who you've been truly punishing for hours on end. But I didn't know if I was going to make it when the third sentence was, this time he tries applying more pressure, leaving globs of the thick white mess on both of my rock hard nipples.
Yep. It does say that.
You know I don't like being sticky.
I know. Now, I have a question. Because you don't like Good Girl.
No.
95% of the time.
Yeah.
I maybe 97. But he does say, that's my girl. Do you like that better?
Do like That's My Girl. I do like That's My Girl, which is funny because like as like a raging independent feminist bitch, like the idea of possessiveness is something that I generally, I struggle with. But I do like micro.
I thought you might.
Yeah, it works for me. It's less patronizing
Okay.
and more praising than
Which is funny
girl,
because to me, same sentiment.
I agree that it's the same sentiment, but unfortunately, this is who I am as a person.
So we do start off with some great nipple play.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
we get that, like, she's being punished for whatever reason. She's receiving punishment.
Yeah. I will say, though, I don't remember even knowing that it was hucow.
Yeah.
I thought it was just dairy play, and I was already like, this is going to be a struggle for me. So, like, the first 3 paragraphs are like nipple play, cream cheese on her body, like, okay. And then, kind of as a jump scare, he goes, my delicious dairy cow,
Yeah.
flicking the bell hanging from my neck. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yes. This kind of gave me a little bit of a flashback to one of the Headless Horseman books that we had read back in October, where there was a little bit of pony play. Different,
Yeah.
but similar in terms of some of the accoutrements, if you will.
Yeah. Yes. Very adjacent. We're in a stall on a farm.
Yes. And he flicks the bell hanging from her neck, and it's the only thing I'm allowed to wear during these punishments. Not that I completely hate it, but this can be absolutely humiliating. I don't like humiliation.
No, not in my bag. I don't like it in real life. I don't like it in my fiction. It's just not for me. And I wouldn't say we have like a whole lot of like explicit humiliation. It's just like the potential for the situation to be humiliating, because we're walking a very fine line between this is a working farm that they own.
Yep.
And they have farm hands. And they are in a special stall in the barn with windows. So someone could, in theory, walk by and see them.
Yes. And it does say anyone on the farm could walk by and see me restrained in this special stall, which he keeps decorated with restraint devices for my punishments. So then we find out why he's using cream cheese.
Which
Smart.
I was fascinated by.
Smart.
We got a lot more details.
Yes. Cream cheese is soft and spreadable, but it keeps its cold temperature long enough for him to savor it, and it makes my nipples hard, which is why they used cream cheese instead of whipped cream.
It won't melt and slide off quickly from my body heat the way that whipped cream does.
The more you know.
The more you know. And then we get a bit in her mouth, which I don't love.
But there's also reason behind, on top of the kink factor.
Yes.
There's reason behind why he uses this bit in particular.
Indeed. We got a bizarre amount of detail. This was very instructional in a lot of ways, I think. So we will learn that she has a hard time getting wet because she has ADHD, and her medication causes some vaginal dryness.
And mouth dryness.
And so what he does is goes to great lengths to get her ready, which I like.
Fantastic.
A lot.
Yep.
And part of the reason why he uses the O-ring bit is to basically get her drooling so that she can give head more effectively.
Which,
sure. Yeah. It's very fascinating because, like, I'm curious if that, I mean, like, it was written with such confidence that it feels like it must be true. But, like, if I had dry mouth and my mouth was forced to be open the whole time, I feel like that would just make it worse.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't either.
But think about, like, when people are sleeping and they drool.
True. And they drool.
It's because their mouth is open, usually.
Yeah.
So there's that. Also, though, the O-ring bit feels like it would not be good for your teeth or your jaw.
No.
Like, that's going to make lockjaw happen pretty easily, I could imagine. Like, I don't know. That one, I didn't love it.
No. We also get a description of their stoplight system, which is they travel a lot, so they use airlines instead of green, yellow, or red, which is Delta Airlines for green, American Airlines for yellow, and Frontier Airlines for red.
I mean, I might even go so far as to say American can go red because American can fuck all the way off.
These days, I kind of agree with you.
And I would make JetBlue be my green light if I'm being honest. I love JetBlue. Anyway, so it's interesting to me that he's wearing sweatpants.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate it, but I also don't love it. And we get a very descriptive look into his anatomy. And also an interesting take. So it says, I've seen it dozens of times and I still never get tired of it. I love everything about it. Dozens, yeah.
Dozens seems like not enough for what their relationship is like, and
that's true.
How long they seem to have been together for.
Yeah,
I'm glad that they have a committed long-term relationship, but like dozens is not the right numerical value.
Hundreds, would that have been better?
Yeah,
thousands, perhaps.
You don't even need to put a number on it. Just say I've seen it so many times and I still never get tired of it. You don't need to say dozens.
I did appreciate though that every time she still is like, damn, yes, that is what that's for me.
Yeah. No, that is pretty great.
I love that for her.
I do too.
So we get that the bit is for her to remove the barrier that her dry mouth can sometimes put between me and giving a good old sloppy toppy.
I
don't like that.
And apparently he's very well endowed because she can't breathe through her nose while she's deep throating his cock because it blocks her airways. He takes big dick energy to a whole new level. But there's so much of this that is extremely detailed, and I would say not in an erotic way. It's very realistic and it's very descriptive, but it feels a little bit clinical at times.
We also get, and I don't know how I feel about this because I feel like this is a bunch of bullshit.
Okay.
He says no woman has ever been able to make him finish from a blowjob alone before. First, I didn't believe him and called bullshit because what man doesn't enjoy blowjobs? But after learning more about his exes, I can totally believe they were too selfish to finish the job. That's why he's always so surprised when I try to please him. Because she's like, I feel powerful because I can make him come from a blowjob. Yeah, right. He's never come from a blowjob before. No way. This is... I don't like this. That sounds manipulative to me and I don't like it.
I agree. And the moment that you have a female main character that's like, having learned more about his exes, I believe that they were selfish lovers. That screams you're naive and stupid. It's so rare that the ex is actually crazy. It does happen, I will say. It does happen, but I would almost call it the exception and not the rule. Yeah. And the fact that there were multiple in his past that you've learned about that you've decided were selfish.
Yeah, maybe one, but not all of them.
I don't like it.
I mean,
it made me not trust him.
There's 3 sides to every story.
His, hers, and the truth.
Yes, but I didn't like this. I didn't like this edition because it takes some of the power away from our female main character, despite the fact that she's like, I feel powerful.
Yeah.
Because it's like, do you though? Is it, or is it real? Some false sense of confidence?
Yeah.
And I mean, for a woman, a good percentage of sex is mental. So, I don't know. I didn't love it though.
Yeah.
I also don't love you're dying to be bred, aren't you?
We do not at this podcast like a breeding kink.
He goes to the fridge to get her a sweet treat, which, I mean, a sweet treat during sex sounds fantastic. Give me a sweet treat anytime. But during sex, yes, please.
Pop some bonbons in my mouth. Let's go.
Honestly, a little bit of whipped cream sounds like a great sweet treat. A shot of whipped cream right in the mouth. Thank you. Anyway, so he pulls out a can of whipped cream
Yes.
So she hears something that is decidedly not Ben's voice go, "Hey," and Ben drops the can on the ground in front of me. He hurriedly unbuckles the gag around my head so my jaw will be free to use for talking purposes. Love that that's the next step that he takes. They're surprised and he's like, "She needs to be able to talk. Let me take care of this." This is a dominant man very much in control of the situation. I don't hate that.
I agree. I feel like leaving her in the pillory is a choice.
Well, they just need to talk about it. They don't need to stop everything.
Someone shouted, "Hey," and you don't know where it came from. And you're like, she should be able to speak, but not move. Not my preference, but sure.
So then they hear over here from the ground in front of her. We both look over to see the can of whipped cream with eyes open looking at us as it tries to get our
Mm-hmm.
And this is just about this was page 6. So This is where it lost you.
But it lost me when we learned how Daryl became cursed. His name is Daryl, which I am so sorry to all of the Daryls out there, but can you imagine a less sexy name? I'm sorry. No wonder you had to coerce women to talk to you. Your fucking name is Daryl. And his nickname is Dairy Daryl because he loves cheese.
Yeah.
And why do you have to tell them that? Your first opportunity to talk and you're like, "I'm Daryl." Yes, Daryl. Dairy Daryl, to be exact. Bro.
It was once an old college nickname, but soon became my curse. That's why. That's why he's a can of whipped cream, because he was known as Dairy Daryl.
Yeah. So he was a handsome frat guy with an intense love for cheese turned into an actual can of whipped cream. The witch said the only way I'd return to normal is if I managed to make a woman come in my new form. And Ben says, which I appreciated, actually. "Sorry, bud, I'm definitely going to need to know what you did before I even begin to consider letting you use my girlfriend to try to break your curse."
Also, we don't get any information that this was an agreement that they had to begin with.
Yeah.
Letting you use my girlfriend, fuck all the way off with that.
Yeah.
Without knowing that this was part of their situation or dynamic. No way.
Yeah, I agree with you. So Daryl, I just was so annoyed by him the whole time. Because he just seems it doesn't seem like he really learned his lesson.
Yeah.
He's not humble in any way. He's not respectful. He's like, "I get it. She's a beautiful woman. I don't blame you for being protective of her. I mean, damn, that ass." Who the fuck says that out loud? Especially after you've been punished for your treatment of women to be cursed in this form. I get that we're trying to play up that he was a no good frat boy before, but that does not make me empathize with him.
No, and this is also the guy that when he's out in the business world, he's gonna be some kind of tech bro. He's gonna walk into a meeting, sit down in a chair and put his feet up on the table.
I've worked with fuckers like this.
He's gonna sit in a chair, put his feet up on a table and start popping M&Ms in his mouth kind of situation.
You're so correct. So he was a fraternity brother at the local college, the University of Ohio, in the Kappa Loca fraternity. We were called Loca because we were known for throwing crazy parties. Okay. And then we go on to explain one of their signature party games. This is, let's see, 5 massive paragraphs of Daryl just talking, explaining what their party game was, how it got them, young freshman girls who didn't know any better, to go into the closet, who were afraid to say no for 7 minutes in heaven. And then there was the big titty goth girl who joined a sorority and she came to one of their parties. I didn't care what she thought of me. I was just looking forward to getting my hands on those big juicy melons. I should have known she would be a witch. I mean, it was written all over her face. She wore black eyeliner and lipstick and had black hair. Anyone who has that much black on them is definitely trying too hard to look a certain way.
And every man that talks like this about a woman is trying too hard to overcompensate for the fact that his penis is probably really small and he doesn't know how to use it.
I just, mm-mm.
So we do get, man, this guy could talk. It had been several minutes and we still hadn't gotten any closer to understanding why he specifically had been cursed to be a can of whipped cream. So then the big titty goth girl, is that what he called her?
Yes. Yes.
Says, I heard all about you and your little fraternity, Daryl. I heard that you like taking advantage of shy girls who are too afraid to say no. Well, I got a cheesy joke of my own for you, Dairy Daryl. How would you like to spend the rest of your life as an actual dairy product? Wait, don't answer that. You didn't give the girls a chance to say no. Why would I give you a chance? Good luck. Love this.
Deserve. Leave him as a can of whipped cream.
This is like vigilante justice here.
I agree. And I condone it 100%.
Yeah, same. Witchy girlies, man.
Yeah, do your thing.
Yep.
And so suddenly he's 8 inches tall and looking up at her from the floor. She tells him, until I can get a woman to consent to having sex with me and I make her come, I'm going to be stuck in this form. She said she didn't want it to be mediocre frat boy sex, that I had to keep the woman's pleasure in mind first and actually make her come in order to return to normal. So I've been stuck like this ever since, because who is going to have sex with a can of whipped cream, he shouts.
A special individual.
And here we are. Ben asks, okay, but have you learned your lesson? Do you understand why what you did was wrong? And then all he says was, fortunately, yes. I've spent many months stuck in this form. And that's it. Like, that's not an explanation of how you know what you did was wrong.
Not like I've had many months to think about how my behavior was not. Yeah.
Correct. So Ben addresses me, clearly wanting me to weigh in on the decision. He may be my owner in the role play scenario we're in the middle of, but that doesn't mean he's not going to get my consent to involve another person or object. I feel like the role play scenario is officially on hold.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird to say we're in the middle of it. Like, it's the only thing that I was like, I feel like splitting hairs about this, because I feel like he's not the owner right now. We are consenting adults who are having a discussion about things. Like, we're not in the middle, like, of, she's not being addressed as a cow at this moment.
However, if she is still kind of in that headspace.
Oh, true.
Then the scene is not over.
Good point.
So she still is locked up in this.
Because he took the bit out and didn't unlock her.
Right. So she is still in that position. She is still in that mindset. So I don't think that the scene is necessarily over.
Fair.
I did like that it goes back to, just because you are not the dominant one does not mean that you don't hold any power in the dynamic.
Yes.
Even in the middle of a scene like that.
I agree. I completely agree with you. So she does get the chance to opine, and she says, I'm okay with it. Sounds fun. And he jokes, you would want to experiment with a sentient can of whipped cream, you little slut. Funny. Yeah. To be known is to be loved.
So she says, Dairy Daryl, Aria, which is the first time we find out her name, consent to having sexual relations with you and my partner, Ben. So we get all three of their names in one sentence.
Indeed. And he says, thank you. So what do you like? And then Ben says, why, I'm so glad you asked. Let me show you. Ben starts explaining how women work, I guess.
So he says, for a lot of women, they need an emotional connection and plenty of foreplay. Like, great. It's true. Yep.
It is true. But it's also just like, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of funny because it indicates that Ben is on the same page as we are, which is that it's obvious that Daryl has not learned anything. Yeah. But that also then makes me question why he would agree to break his curse to begin with. But I digress.
Yeah. Well, maybe he doesn't think he's going to be able to. Maybe he's like, yeah, we're going to teach him something.
Sure.
And then we might need to teach him a couple times before he's like, oh, you know what?
That's fair. That's fair.
I didn't like, so every woman's turned on by different things. You can't assume they're all going to be ready just at the sight of you, blah, 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 blah. And then Daryl says, so you're saying some girls are freaks? I already knew that. Don't like it.
No, did not like it at all.
Don't yuck somebody else's yum. I don't like it.
No, but Ben didn't seem to like it either, or at least Arya believes that Ben didn't like it because it says, I can't see him, but I imagine that Ben is rolling his eyes right now. Sure, some women are freaks, if that's what you want to call the ones into more unique things, but every woman needs a man to pay attention to what they like specifically. Some want penetration only, while others can't come from penetration at all. Some have emotional, physical, or medical barriers to comfortable and enjoyable sex. And then we get more reasons why Daryl should remain a fucking can of whipped cream, because Ben is explaining Arya's ADHD medication and how it causes vaginal dryness. A lot of women are embarrassed by it and won't bring it up, even if they are in pain during sex, because they consider it a failure on their part in the same way that a man with erectile dysfunction would, which isn't true, of course. It's not their fault, and there isn't anything wrong with them. And Daryl says, what do you mean it's not their fault? They're literally the ones who can't get wet enough. Like,
I hate him.
I hate him. I have no sympathy for him at all. I don't give a shit whether he lives or dies. I don't want him to be a person. Like, it's funny because, like, I really liked that we were getting a good, like, introduction to, like, BDSM in general, role play, boundaries, like, how to make a woman excited. Like, yes, like, it's funny because it's like, this is very much preaching to the choir. Like, the demographic of people who read this book already know these things.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I guess there's a little bit of validation here. Like, if it were a man writing it, I'd be like, yes, okay. Like, people with penises do understand sometimes. But, like, this is a woman talking to other women and being like, wouldn't it be great if men just, like, recognize that we need, like, foreplay and shit? But, like,
we need to actually like them.
We need to actually like them. Yeah. But, like, he's just so unlikable because then he, like, Ben explains, like, here's why I do the spreader bar. Like, here's why I do this. Like, here's why I make sure that she is, like, sopping wet ready for me. And Daryl goes, oh, I understand what you mean. I've never taken the time to learn what a woman needs like that. No wonder you're so possessive of her. You wouldn't want to have put in all of this work all over again for another one.
Nope.
Like,
you've learned
throw
nothing.
him in the trash. I feel like I might have liked this book more if he did not turn into a human at the end of it and they were like, well, we'll try again at a later date.
But also, Ben kind of appeases his nonsense because he says, you could put it that way, sure. There are many rewards other than just sex that come from a committed long-term relationship, though. But, like, this, he doesn't need to be gentle parented. He needs to get his ass kicked.
Yes. Correct. Use some life skills.
So then he starts to use some of the whipped cream on Arya. I hear the distinct squirt of a whipped cream canister moments before I feel the cool tickle of it on my ass cheek. Ben takes a long, slow lick before spreading them wider and squirting more along my ass crack.
No.
I didn't hate it.
No. Do not put dairy in your ass. Do not. I will peak this microphone if it makes you understand that you should not put dairy in your ass.
They're not putting it in her ass.
They are.
Oh,
He
man.
starts with his tongue low, just barely grazing my vaginal opening before sliding it higher, circling the rim of my asshole, and then continuing all the way up. He does it again, once more, twice more, before reloading the cream, and then he inserts over and over again.
Yeah.
I will say, a point in its favor is they are going to use a suppository later.
Yeah.
But only for her vagina.
Yeah.
This is still bad for your ass.
Yeah?
Bacteria can still get in there. Do not do this.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like it's much less of a fragile ecosystem, if you will.
Yes, but it's still a very sensitive, like, it's still sensitive skin in there that bacteria can get stuck to. Do an enema afterward, I guess, is all I'm saying.
So she has a little bit of an exhibitionist kind of kink because it says, next I feel 2 fingers of his free hand go to my wet opening and spread my lips apart. Then he slowly explores, feeling his fingers touch all around my entrance before gently slipping inside. I'm so turned on by the fact that he's doing this with an audience, showing Daryl how to truly pleasure a woman. Great. he gives her oral.
Yep.
Does she come from that?
Yeah. He uses his fingers and his tongue, and then my legs nearly give out as I finally come in a rush, gushing around his fingers and panting wildly in an attempt to catch my breath.
So then he hooks up a little hammock underneath her, which will keep her in that position even if her legs give out, right? He points out to Daryl, see that puddle on the floor below her now, Daryl? Vaginal dryness is no match for a good session of oral. So it does say, and even when she came so hard that she squirted and her legs were trembling, I had a backup to keep her supported and comfortable so the fun doesn't have to stop when her body tries to. Now, I wouldn't necessarily classify the end result of a woman squirting as having really much effect at all on vaginal dryness.
Yeah. Yes, correct.
Because also it's not coming out of the vagina.
No.
So there's that.
There is that. But
the more you know.
And you should know.
Yeah.
I think all straight men should have to take a comprehensive sex ed class.
Yeah.
As adults.
Like sex ed as in like
more
female
than just
biology.
Anatomy. Yeah. Yeah. I think it should be a requirement when they register to vote.
I think we've talked about this before.
I'm sure we have. It's a mountain that I am very willing to die on. If you don't understand how the menstrual cycle works, you don't get to choose elected officials.
That's fair. If you think that you can't pee with a tampon in, no.
I hate the world sometimes. So Aria is on the same page as me, though, I would say. Because the sound of whipped cream squirting onto something reaches my ears moments before I feel something very much not Ben or Daryl inserted into my vagina. Did you just put whipped cream into my vagina? I exclaim. And then he says, now, baby, you know you're not supposed to speak during role play sessions. He says in a belittling tone. I suppose I'll let it slide this time since we have a special guest and I did something you weren't expecting. But really, honey, if I don't use the dilator, how am I ever going to fit an entire can of whipped cream into your sweet little pussy?
I mean, at least he's getting her ready for it.
I could have done without
the whipped cream, just the whipped cream. What if you use the dilator with regular lube?
Then it would have made sense because there's no world in which whipped cream is a good lubricator.
I have a question for you. I thought about this the other day and I'm glad that I'm remembering it right now. What are your thoughts on flavored lube?
Great question. I haven't ever experimented with flavored lube in my vagina because
Is it because you're worried about it?
It's because I'm worried about it. But I have done flavored lube for oral. Performing oral on my partner because that I think is great and so fun.
I'm going to look it up.
Please. I would love to know.
Is flavored lube safe
for vaginas?
Well, So flavored lube, is it really okay for my vagina? I don't want 10% off good, clean love. Flavored lube is the perfect secret ingredient for great sex as it taps into so many sensory experiences at once. Blah, 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 blah. Selecting a flavored lubricant is important to ensure that you're choosing one with ingredients that won't be harmful to your body. One of the greatest myths around flavored lubes is that they're harmful to the vagina because they have added fragrance. In reality, there's a distinct difference between flavor and fragrance.
I guess
flavored lubes are safe if they are glycerin-free, paraben-free, pH balanced, organic, and if they're doctor or gynecologist recommended. Also, though, this is
a site that sells flavored lubes.
Yeah. So, never mind. Another lube life.
The AIO review says flavored lubricants are designed for oral sex and should be avoided for vaginal intercourse.
But like that, so really they're designed for oral sex on a man.
Yes.
Of course they are.
Of course they are.
Let's try to make a blowjob seem a little more appealing by making it taste better.
I'm okay with that.
But it's the men that sometimes need a little more encouragement going down there. So fuck that.
No, but if you're transitioning to vaginal sex, switch to a clean water-based or silicone-based lubricant that is free of flavors, glycerin, and parabens.
Interesting. I would go so far as to say don't use a silicone-based lubricant.
I have to use a silicone-based lubricant.
Really?
Water-based always gave me a UTI.
Interesting. Interesting. Well,
Anyway, this has been Sex Education with Kay and Elle. Back to fitting a whole can inside of this woman's vagina.
yes. So he is fiddling with the tubing on the dilator before he hears the squirting of air coming from Daryl again. And he is squirting air from the can into the rubber tubing to dilate the
Inflate
balloon.
Yeah.
That seems tricky because you're going to run out of the air in there if you use too much of it. And then, so he's utilizing this. Great. Love that for her. And then he takes it out.
Well, she squirts
Again.
and pushes the balloon out.
Right. Yes. Great. Love that for her. And then she screams as something cold and metal touches her. Holy shit, that's Daryl, the whipped cream. He's pushing the can of whipped cream into my sore, swollen clit. He moves it up and down a bit. The cold feels great. I love some temperature play. Love that for them. And then this just doesn't sound good.
No.
He teases it at first, twisting Daryl back and forth, rubbing him into the whipped cream and then along the edges of my opening.
Using whipped cream as a lubricant. This is just not effective.
Also, his fingers pry my lips wide open.
I hate it. Pulling them exceedingly far apart before finally releasing them around Daryl.
Yeah.
No. This is the most my vagina has ever been stretched. It hurts so good. No. He begins pushing deeper, only going about half an inch before pulling back out and repeating the process. He plays with her tits. He talks dirty to her. He continues. I moan, turned on by the filth in his words as he violates my body against my will.
Yeah.
It's not against your will. This is supposed to be entirely consensual, but...
and it's like you enthusiastically consented at the beginning. You're not using you haven't said Frontier Airlines.
Yeah. But to make it even more insane, we've got a full-ass can of whipped cream in her pussy, and he goes, in fact, you're so good at taking it, who's to say you can't take more? You've always wanted to try DP. Why not make now the time?
No.
No. This is not the time.
No, this is not the time when you are already a large... well-endowed man.
Yes.
She is fuller than she's ever been in her life, and now you think is the time?
No. This is a terrible idea. But we're going to do it anyway. We at least get the small mercy that she doesn't feel irritated by the spout at the top of the can, so I have to assume Ben inserted him bottom first.
And he uses real lube for her ass.
Okay. Another small mercy. Ben is thrusting harder as he reaches his climax. I tense and clench harder as he does, feeling my muscles squeeze tighter and tighter with each thrust, the spaces inside of me disappearing as my entire body draws tight. I'm clenching so tight around Daryl that I worry for his safety until I hear that distinct sound of whipped cream squirting. But this time it doesn't stop. The thought that I've managed to make a can of whipped cream come is the final thing that pushes me over the edge. I scream as my orgasm hits me. The fact that he came first means that his curse should not be broken. All I have to say about that.
Oh, man. So then Ben comes after she has. And it says, good thing we're standing over a bed of hay in the stall, or we would have made quite the puddle in this barn.
I mean, you still made a puddle.
Yeah.
But Daryl is now a person because he shouts, holy shit, that was the hottest thing I've ever seen. I can't believe I got to see the inside of a vagina as it came today.
Like, sir, if you could see it. If you spent any time down there in your earlier life, you could have seen what it looks like, but no.
And so Ben says, we're not done. Now is the part where we do aftercare, a very important step in BDSM relationships like ours.
Love this.
This is great. he explains like what we just put her through requires way more attention to recover from. Think about everything her body just endured, from being stuck in that position to the way that she was stretched. Nothing we just did was gentle, especially the position. Her sore muscles deserve a lot of attention. So Ben carries her inside. They put her in the bath in nice hot water that she likes. He gets a boric acid suppository. It's important for women to maintain their normal pH balance to prevent infections. We have special soap for intimate areas, and I'm scrubbing her thoroughly to remove any residue from everything she was exposed to. As an extra precaution to prevent BV after putting food inside her, I'm going to put in a boric acid suppository. It'll absorb overnight and make her feel back to normal when she wakes up tomorrow.
Great.
Good. It's the least you could do.
So once she is bathed, massaged, dried off with my hair in a 3-strand braid, Daryl picks me up off the bathroom counter to follow Ben into the bedroom. So Ben says to him, I'm assuming you don't have a place to stay. You look about my size. You can borrow some of my pajamas. You're welcome to change and then sleep with us. Men need aftercare too, and there's no point in sending you to the couch when you could receive the comfort of sharing a bed with both of us.
In what way does he deserve that?
And then she ends up in between the two of them. They each give me a kiss on the forehead to say goodnight. I can't help but think to myself how I wouldn't mind saving men from curses more often, especially if the nights end like this. Sleeping in between two people, even if it's a king-size bed, my nightmare too.
My nightmare. Absolutely not. Also, this is apparently a prequel. There's a whole series.
Yeah.
The next one is called Banana Cream Pied, and the one after that is Artichoke Me Peas. So if you have any interest in continuing to hear about Arya and Ben and potentially Daryl, I assume that they will feature in Rosemary Bunny's other works in this series.
Yep.
But otherwise, this is where we end.
Yeah.
How would you rate this one?
I'll give this one a 3.5 because, well, one, I knew that it was gonna cause a lot of
strife.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah.
So that makes it funnier for me. Also, the writing wasn't anything spectacular, but I did kind of like the way that we were walked through the BDSM aspects of it. Yeah, I don't know. 3.5 for me. What about you?
1.5. And all 1.5 stars come from how good the explanations were.
Okay.
Like, I think that's the best part about this book is I do think that there's some very realistic attention to how to make a relationship like this work, what aftercare should look like. No part of this is my bag, though. I didn't enjoy a single step on this journey, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean that you won't. So perhaps try it out if the content warnings don't scare you. So, how did you cast this?
So, for Arya.
Oh, no.
I went with Sydney Sweeney.
Oh, my God. Okay.
There's the whole scene with her being a dog in Euphoria. So, there's that.
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean,
okay. Yep.
She's not on my favorite people list, but
no more needs to be said.
For Ben, I went with Penn Badgley. I just feel like Penn Badgley knows his way around a woman.
I agree with you.
But
I don't know that I have a but beyond just like no, I don't have a but. I think this works. Okay. I think you're right. I think you're right. I like this take.
And Daryl was supposed to be a blonde, but no, I went with Dave Franco.
Oh man, Dave Franco is perfect for this role. This is basically like him in 21 Jump Street.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So
this works for me.
Dave Franco. His face is frat boy.
Yeah. I'm sorry, my guy, but I'm going to typecast you based on your face. So.
Yeah. Same.
I agree. I think these are great picks.
So, what are we reading next?
So, next week, we're reading My Hot Dog Came to Life and Screwed Me by Skye Corrigan. Pray for us.
We are.
That's all I have to say about that.
That is, in fact, what we're going to read.
Are you reading anything outside of the podcast?
I just this morning actually got by a Threads ad for a book.
Ooh.
And I downloaded it. I haven't started it yet, but it is Meet Me in the Dark by Laura Ashley Gallagher.
Okay.
And on Threads, like what got me was like she had been going on a run, and a guy that she had sex with one time that they had used a blindfold all of a sudden decided that her early morning runs are not safe, so he's just started showing up and running with her. Okay. And then they're on a run and they see a couple in the park having sex, and she's like, I can't look away, I can't stop looking at it. So he covers her eyes, and then it's like, well, we could have used a blindfold then. And it just got me. So I downloaded it this morning, and that is on my TBR for this weekend, I think.
Nice.
What about you?
So I finished Behind Five Willows by June Hur, and it was so good. It was so good. It was so good. It was everything that I would want out of like a Pride and Prejudice vibe, and so educational for me. I feel like, so this is not the only book by this author. I actually have another one of hers, A Crane Among Wolves, that I've been meaning to read. And she pretty specifically talks about a certain period of Korean history. And so like I'm not at all familiar with Korean history. And I feel like there was just enough to get me familiar with like the customs and the traditions and what the law looked like at this time, and kind of like a little bit of the political maneuverings, just enough to give some background and weight to like the relationship between the two main characters that's supposed to kind of emulate that of Darcy and Elizabeth from Pride and Prejudice. And it was just so well done and so engrossing. I think I finished it in like a day and a half.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
It was lovely, and I highly recommend.
Love that.
So, yeah.
Well, if you've made it this far, we appreciate you. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, tell your friends, leave us a comment. Links for everything will be in our show notes, as always. And with that,
we're at our wits' end.
We'll see you next time.